What's up, everybody? I'm Jeremy. You guys are watching Inside the Coils. Super excited tonight. We've got a guest on. I've been promising them. I don't want to say I've been promising them. I've been telling them, though, probably for like 2 years, we were going to make this happen. And you guys all know how I get. I just get sidetracked. I'm like a squirrel and just, yeah. Or, no, I'm not like a squirrel, but I see the squirrel and just kind of, me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's been a long weekend, folks. I had the Oaks show this weekend. Was not my greatest show of all by any means. Thankfully, I did have a pre-sale, but other than that, I like tripped, fell on my face, rolled down the hill, and got smacked by a car, basically. It was a rough show for me, but you're gonna have this. I mean, you have good shows, you have bad shows. This happens. This weekend, though, you guys are going to get to see the promo a little bit later on anyway. Excuse me. But this weekend, guys, is Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC. This Saturday. Be there. I will have a good selection. I was hoping to have a better selection, but a bunch of you folks that watch the channel and support it did in fact snag a bunch of the carpets that I was hoping to have for sale at the show. So I shouldn't complain. I guess I'm kind of complaining. I don't know. It's a good problem to have. That's the only way I can really look at it. It's a good problem to have. But I will have the remaining carpet pythons at that show. So if you are in the market for a beautiful jungle, make sure you do come out and check it out. There's a couple that I don't even know why in the hell I'm bringing them along, because I don't really want them to go, but I can't keep everything, guys. Another little quick update. The Exantic Clown Clutch, which you guys haven't gotten to see the clutch cutting yet because it's the benefit of only releasing one video a week. They're starting to eat the DG Hypo chocolate clutch, which you guys didn't get to see cut yet either. They're starting to shed out. I love having all these surprises and hiding everything from you guys. Only a select few know exactly what I've got sitting in the rack over here now at this point. But you guys are going to have some killer stuff coming out. I'm planning, folks, this week should be the Carpet Python Care video. I know it was going to be I said it was going to be last week. I filmed it like 3 times. I wasn't happy with 2 out of the 3. Went through editing the rest of the 3rd one today. I think I'm happy with it. I don't know. I'm going to go through and watch it again. So if it doesn't air this week, guys, it's because I'm refilming it again. So if you are picking up a carpet, refer back to the first care video. Basically, everything's the same. The only thing I changed really care-wise was the temperatures at which I keep them at. I dropped it a couple of degrees, 87. So in case anybody's watching, curious, 87 degrees Fahrenheit. But I want this video to be perfect, and I just can't, like, I'm being too nitpicky. I think it's just because it is the carpet video. Like, I feel as though I need to be nitpicky with it. So I do apologize on that one. But anyway, you guys don't want to hear me ramble anymore. If you are new to the channel, though, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button, everybody, right now. I do greatly appreciate everybody here in the chat. Also, make sure you guys check out the channel membership. Check out the sponsors, which you guys will get to see throughout the video. Husbandry Pro, use code Warfel 60 days free instead of 30 days free. Promo, our affiliate link is in the description down below for that. And for Charlie at Gray Rider Reptiles, shedtesting.com, guys. I don't have his promo up yet. I'm sorry, Charlie. I've always wanted to say that. I didn't. Wow. All right, that just happened. Like, I don't. Yeah. Anyway. Use code CARPET15. It gets you 15% off of your shed test order through shedtesting.com. Charlie at Gray Rider Reptiles, guys. I do need to work on that promo. I am deeply sorry, Charlie, but I'm planning to catch up here somehow. I had the week of the barbecue off, and it seems like I got absolutely nothing done. But anyway, you guys are tired of hearing me ramble. Let's bring out our guest for tonight.
Hey, how's it going?
Jackie, Jasper, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing?
Been a wild week.
All right, now do tell what has been. Now, because with you, obviously, you've got a bunch of reasons your weekend could be wild. So, was it work-wise, was it educational stuff, or what made it so wild?
I still had quite a few educational shows at different schools this week, but we had the Gettysburg Bike Week in town this week, and
that's great.
Friday night was Pop Evil, and then last night was Saliva, Drowning Pool, and then before them was Scotty, the old lead singer from Saving Abel. But it was an amazing show Friday night and Saturday night. I overdid it last night, and I'm feeling it today.
Well, at least you had a good time there, dude. That's the big thing here. You had a good time. Drowning, man. All right, because I thought Drowning Pool's lead singer died. I guess they replaced him.
They must have. I never follow the actual individuals too much, but when I was talking to other people leading up to it, they were like, I don't even know who their new lead singer is, but he did an awesome job.
Okay,
so, a really good show.
I'll always after Bodies, I think that was the only song from them that existed for me. I think that's all that did it for me. That was just the ultimate yeah.
Well, being there, you could tell that was a lot of people's only exposure to them. I
can see it.
Even Saliva and Pop Evil, I think they have definitely some more pop or hit songs that most people know. But every time they would point the mic to the crowd, they were deeply disappointed. People were not singing along the way they expected.
Oh man, see, yeah, and in all honesty, I don't know if I could think up of any other Drowning Pool songs. I literally think that is as much as I hate to say it, it's kind of it was a one-hit wonder. I think that's really, for me anyway, that was they were a one-hit wonder band for me.
Yeah, they're that album, Sinner, was the biggest one. So Sinner is another song on that one. 37 Stitches was a really popular one too, but Bodies is definitely their biggest hit.
Yeah, see, man, that's making it. Now I'm wishing I would back in the day I would have done more concerts and stuff. I kind of meant I don't know. It was such a waste of money looking back. But at the same time, it's man, I had so much fun doing it.
Yeah, well, it's not too late.
We're
going to a Jelly Roll concert with Joe and Gina in September.
Oh, okay. See, Jelly Roll, all right, Jelly Roll's not my thing. I can't get into Jelly Roll. I'm trying to think of one band who I would love to see now. This might sound really dumb, but I almost would like to see Creed. Now, all of a sudden, Creed's making this massive resurgence back, and it's just something came across my feed yesterday. I think it was yesterday, maybe it was Friday. Anyway, came across my feed, and I was oh my god, I forgot of all. I completely forgot about them. So I went back and started watching all the old MTV music videos. I'm just oh my god, I remember. Completely went back in a time machine. It was it was reliving my youth all over. It was an amazing feeling.
I wish I could go back and see Aerosmith and Lynyrd Skynyrd in their heyday. That would
be those would be good picks. Now, if I was to go back and see a concert that I actually was if I could go back to a concert and relive it, it would, oh man, it would have to either be, or it would have to be one of three, because I saw Avenged Sevenfold and Disturbed,
nice,
and oh god, Corey Taylor's side band, not Slipknot, the other one, Stone Sour. I saw those all at one concert. And that one stood out because I thought, like, the way Avenged Sevenfold opened up their concert. I apologize for everybody that's listening to like music talk. You guys do reptile content. This is how shit just starts. Everybody, you just gotta understand it's good conversations. But like they started off like this scene like with a graveyard for Avenged Sevenfold. And my girlfriend at the time, I told her, I was like, there's like a guy like at the top of the arch thing, like over top of the lighting and stuff. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, completely like didn't seem right. And all of a sudden, the dude like drops. And I just looked at her. I was like, someone just hung themselves like right on stage.
Oh,
well, see, but it was just part of the act. Somehow, this guy carrying a dummy blended in, dropped the dummy, but it looked like the guy dropped.
Okay.
Oh, dude, like my heart sunk. I thought it's like it's speechless.
Yeah, that's pretty memorable.
Yeah, that one, and then Slipknot was in a phenomenal freaking concert, dude. Phenomenal. But then I would love to go back and see Linkin Park because that was like my very first concert. Saw them live in Baltimore, and I mean, it was, oh my God, like that was the coolest thing ever to see.
Meteora was the very first CD I ever bought. So, yeah, they hold a special place for me.
Dude, I remember Meteora. That was a good one. I know everybody hated Reanimation, I think is what it was, the second CD. I thought that was a good one. It had some good hits on it. Anyway, all right. Enough with reliving the past. I'm gonna get stuck on it. And after this, I'm gonna go up and watch like 100 videos of back in the day. Dustin, introduce us to who's with you, and then just kind of give us a little rundown about yourselves, and we'll run with it from there.
Okay. This is Jackie, my fiance, and this is Jasper, her daughter. We have another daughter that might join us, and they both help me out with educational shows for schools and preschools, and also just birthday parties. I've been in the entertainment business like as a balloon artist for a little over 20 years this year, actually. And then I've been doing educational shows for children mostly for about 16 years now. So the business was actually started, built from the ground by my mother. So I grew up in the business, like watching her do balloons and being a clown essentially for the most part. And then she phased out of doing all the makeup stuff. And when I first started, I had to do the makeup and I hated it. It's like, this is definitely not me. And I was definitely like one of those sad clowns, and you could tell I did not want to be doing that.
Well, that would just, I feel putting the makeup on, that would be a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
And that stuff can't come off that easy. Like, that looks like it's on there. Like, it looks like it'd be the biggest pain in the ass to get off.
It really depends on what makeup you use. Like, there's a grease paint stuff that stays on pretty much no matter what. And then the regular face paint makeup stuff, like, will smear and sweat all over you. So you pretty much have to use the grease paint unless you want it to be messy. But thankfully, I haven't done that in, probably 18 years now. Yeah, that's still a big part of the business for me. And as the business as a whole, that's still our biggest seller or moneymaker. But the shows have like really taken off in the last 3 or 4 years. And, it's like continuing on as a third generation family business now. So it's pretty fun.
See, I think that's cool though that it's not just you though. One, it was a family thing, but now you have your family helping you do it, and I think like that makes it, I think it feels so much more meaningful to have the ones that you love helping you do it and enjoying it. Because I know, like with what you guys do at the Gettysburg show, like you genuinely just love doing it, and you can tell it shows through. And I think that's probably what's made everything kind of blow up and be successful for you, is that you're not just there, that it's a paycheck or something. You're there because you genuinely care, love it, and you want to bring people in.
Yeah, and there's no way I would be able to keep them helping me if they didn't love it too, because I'm a terrible boss.
All right, I have to answer this here. Jamie asked, Jamie, what's up? First of all, Chris from Balls Deep says, I want to see Creed and Nickelback. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing Nickelback. I'm not gonna lie. I am a Nickelback fan, so judge me if you will. But Jamie, I listen to like a little bit of everything. It's like I'm kind of all over the spectrum. Nickelback, Creed, Linkin Park, Slipknot, In This Moment. Like I'm literally like Papa Roach. Like I'm literally all over the freaking spectrum with everything that I listen to. It's yeah, and then Beach Boy. Like I think everybody's got to listen to the Beach Boys at some point. But all over the spectrum, Jamie. I'm all over the spectrum. I'm not a big rap person though. Old school Will Smith. That's about my that and Eminem. I'll go with that. But beyond that, I'm not much of a rap guy. But everything else, that's kind of my jam. Tara says Warfel's Morphs in music. Lexi Luhu, what's up, girl? Good to see you. And then we got this guy here, Mr. Woodrow. We're not gonna, taking some jabs here. I only listen to Taylor Swift unwillingly, sir. Unwillingly. Because there are two other females in this house that are very much Swifties, and I just like if I get a weird charge from Apple, and I'm like, all right, and I'll go to Kara. I was like, what did you get for $11? Oh, it was the new Taylor Swift CD. I was like, she came out with the new CD. She goes, well, it's not really new. It's kind of like the old songs, but like they changed a few things, or it's like the songs are longer. I was like, so you just rebought the same freaking song that you've rebought 3 other times already.
There are some pretty awesome metal covers of her songs. Have you heard any of those?
No, I haven't actually.
You should check those out.
Taylor Swift. Can't picture Taylor Swift as a metal cover. That would be maybe that'd be kind of cool. I don't know.
What's that one? It's like I'll write your name. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what it's called.
Jared, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. My niece here says, Lexi, I don't absolutely love Taylor Swift. I will say this: old original Taylor Swift songs were the best out of it, but like back when she sounded country. But then after that, yeah, no. Anyway, before I lose any street cred that I once had before this whole conversation started, Jamie says I can see Jeremy cleaning snake bins. All right. That last part. All right, Spice Girls. All right, you watch yourself, sir. Spice Girls are a gem. To this day, if I'm listening to, I forget what station it is, and Spice Girls come on, hell yes, I'm jamming out to it. All right, I will hand in my man card on that one. I don't care. Guilty pleasure. Judge me if you will. But anywho, I just lost all credibility right now tonight. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Now,
you need to bring a boombox to the Gettysburg show this weekend. Put some Taylor Swift at your table.
I have thought about that, but I also I figure 'cause I've got songs on there for like Hadley as well. Like she'll I downloaded certain albums just solely for her. So I feel if you go from, let's just say, In This Moment to the Encanto soundtrack, people are going to be really confused what the hell's going on in my head. We just don't need that kind of confusion. I guess I could make a playlist, though, but that takes work, and I'm not up for making a whole bunch of extra work. Phil, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Hopefully, we'll get to see you this weekend. Phil's not sure what he wants to do. Tara says, I prevailed as her blank space.
Yeah, that's it.
Chris, I lost credibility when I drank my yoo-hoo with my pinky out. I don't remember drinking yoo-hoo with my pinky out. But if I did, sir, it's because that was a special yoo-hoo that probably had all the magic in it, which I gave John. All right, get this. All right, you guys know my thing with yoo-hoo, right? Yoo-hoo holds magical capabilities. You drink yoo-hoo, you sell snakes like crazy. So not only did I give John and Christine yoo-hoos, for which they started selling snakes like freaking crazy after that for a little while. So I gave away my lucky yoo-hoos. And then my son Dom came over with a box of pizza, and I saw Chris and Matt over there holding yoo-hoos up, and Dom says, take a picture of them. I didn't think anything of it. So I took a picture of them, funny how I sent in the group chat, and I said to Dom, I was like, how'd you get the pizza? He goes, oh, I gave him 2 of your yoo-hoos. I'm like, they never told me he's giving away my shit. It's like, dude, they could have been my lucky ones. So yeah, I blame Dom for my lack of success since he got rid of my lucky yoo-hoos. Anyway, let's run the first channel sponsor. We'll get into another topic here real quick. Let's see here. Here we go.
Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC is located at the All-Star Event Complex in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It's a 45,000 square foot venue with 125 plus vendors and top quality breeders, along with 270 plus tables. If you're looking for a python, boa, colubrid, gecko, lizard, or amphibian, you've come to the right place. Doesn't matter if you're a breeder looking for that missing piece to your project or a pet owner looking for your next scaly friend, Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC has you covered. Need an incubator or rack system? They have you covered with sea serpents set up there to meet all your needs. The next show dates are July 20th and November 9th of 2024, March 29th of 2025. Show times are from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Make sure to check them out on their website, Instagram, and Facebook. Mark your calendars because this is one show you don't want to miss. So I'll see you at Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC.
And for everybody that is at the show, I'm going to be refilming the ad. So maybe for the next go around here, or batch, I should say, of ads for Gettysburg, maybe you'll be lucky and you'll be on the in the ad for the next couple shows. I got a whole bunch of crap given to me from certain people that they weren't on the ad anymore. So maybe I'll have to add them in. I'll have to see if they remember that I forgot them this last time. We'll have to wait and see. So, what you guys are like? You don't breed or anything, correct, Dustin?
No, I haven't really like dipped my toes into that. It's something we've been kicking around, but we're kind of filled out to max capacity here in the house. And then the other place where I rent space from, I'm pretty much tapped out there too.
Oh, wow. Okay. So now, if you had a species that you were going to breed, what would you pick?
Definitely the Uromastyx geri. I'm just fascinated with them, and I don't think that there's a whole lot, at least here on the East Coast. Phil does an awesome job, but I think he's moving away from those two and focusing on other Uromastyx species. And they really do make really amazing pets. They don't need live insects for one, and like me doing shows for kids, I think it's a good one to promote because it's a lot easier for their parents to get into as well if there's no chance of like feeders escaping and causing havoc. And we're on the reptile rescue side of things too, and that's one of the biggest reasons people are giving up their animals is their parents have decided they do not like having roaches and crickets and worms like in their house. So
I get that. Dude, Dom used to have a gecko, and of course when he was younger anyway, and when he would be at his mom's house for half a week or so, it was my job then to take care of it. Well, I was getting everything amped up here. I was building the snake room. And so I really the last thing on my mind was this freaking gecko and crickets. And then you go upstairs and all you would smell was freaking crickets. It's just like, when that leopard gecko finally passed, I should say I was happy that it passed. But my first thought was, oh, thank God we can get rid of the crickets.
Yeah, I've moved away from feeding crickets almost completely. Our other daughter keeps mantises though, and one of her mantises refuses to take the mealworms or superworms, and so she still keeps the crickets, but we get them in very small quantities now. I've been told I'm not allowed to have roaches at all anymore because for that same reason. Jackie was cleaning the animal room and one climbed up out of the trash can, so she was like, "Nope, that's it."
I was gonna say, if that would have happened, Kara would have killed me on that one. Dom wanted to get. He was at Oaks. We had a spider person beside us, and at the end of the show, I'm packing up, and he's over there looking at these spiders. And I looked at him, I was like, dude, don't even freaking think about it, man. Well, what? He goes, I'll keep it upstairs. It's like, I'm scared to death of spiders anyway. He's like, I'm not going to hold it. I'm like, if you're scared of it, then you don't freaking need it, dude. I was like, plus, the Kara would kill you and she would kill me, but she'll get me first, so I can't protect you.
I think they're awesome. We have a Goliath bird eater that is at the other place too. And then I have Asian forest scorpions over there too. Because they're not allowed at our house here either. We're actually living in Jackie's mom's house, and she does not like the snakes, spiders, or any of that stuff. So it's a no-go there. But over at the other place, all that stuff is fine.
I got you.
I still can't really handle the Goliath bird eater very much, just because she does not like being handled at all. I can hold her in my hand and she'll just walk off on her own. But, the idea with that was to bring it to shows to show people, but they kick hairs like crazy more than a lot of other species. And it does hurt when they bite a lot.
Well, now what's the point of them kicking their hairs out? Is there...
So I'm by far an expert on it, but they have basically barbs on the hairs, and when they kick them out, it's to deter predators too. So
okay, so it's almost like a porcupine thing type of deal, almost similar.
Yeah, pretty similar, yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess you don't want them little things getting stuck in you. Plus, you don't want your spider doing that. So
yeah. So I don't bring any of the tarantulas to shows anymore. And occasionally I'll bring the Asian forest scorpions, but that's more just because I like them. I'm fine just watching them do their thing without having to touch them.
Now, can you handle the scorpions? I guess let's see, this is the fascinating part because I know nothing about spiders, scorpions, mantises, any of that stuff. All tarantulas, I don't see how people handle because I'm thinking it's you're going to get your ass bit. Scorpions, I'm thinking you're going to get stung like crazy. So, can you handle those scorpions, or
you can? I think it's a individual thing. Just like certain snakes are going to be more, cool with being handled too. But I've never been stung by any of the scorpions, and some of them are more tolerant of it, but I don't think any of them actually being picked up. And I think the way I look at it and tell the kids at shows is, we're giants to most of these creatures. So imagine something 80 times your size just picks you up and is walking around showing you off to people that, that I don't think anybody would be that cool with it. And it takes a lot of acclimating until they are okay with it.
That makes sense. I get it. Man, how many different species of animals do you have for your programs? Just a
never
ballpark.
actually.
I'm sure you can't think of everything off the top of your head, but
I could give you a whole list, but usually I bring like 7 to 12 different animals, depending on the show package they pick, and just the schedule of everything. Like, I only have one alligator, so I can't like bring her every single day because then she's not getting, the right things that she needs from her enclosure and being in a box all day. So, but we have 2 different bearded dragons and 4 different Uromastics, 5 leopard geckos, a blue tongue skink. We do have different frog species, an iguana, ferrets, rats come to the shows occasionally, and right over here we have sulfur crested cockatoo. And I'm surprised that he hasn't started screaming at us yet, but he hasn't been coming to shows for what, 3 years now. Yeah, he's basically shown me that he does not like that kind of attention anymore, or it's more that he like doesn't know how to behave while we're doing the rest of the show. Like, he wants everybody's attention on him, and then when it's actually his turn to come out, then he'll stop screaming, but he'll also just randomly bite me because he doesn't like somebody looking at him. And like their beaks, are designed for crushing things, and it bleeds profusely if they hit the right spot. And that's not really ideal for a show in front of kids. So he's retired now, and the laws about interstate travel with birds have changed drastically recently too. And I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know how to go about making that possible again. So it's better for him just to stay at home.
Now, on average, how far do you travel for these shows? I thought you were more a very local type of deal, but you just said interstate, so like you're going farther, obviously, than what I'm thinking you're going.
Yeah, we cover a big region of Maryland, Virginia, DC, and Pennsylvania. Occasionally, I go into Delaware and New Jersey, and so, well, like we're right here in Gettysburg. We're kind of right on the border of West Virginia and Maryland. Like, we're closer to a lot of parts in Maryland and Virginia and DC and West Virginia than, say, Philly. That's actually like a 2.5 hour drive, but to DC is, if there's not bad traffic, it only takes about an hour and 20 minutes. So typically, like, we're within an hour and a half range, and then I try to get multiple bookings in the same general area. And like, because we have repeat clients, that does make it easier for us to give them a list of dates that we are in the same area. And this year worked out really well, but it's also the busiest year I've ever had. Like 2 weeks ago, I had 16 shows in the week, and I was very much beat after that. And then like 8 shows the following week, and it's very draining on me. So I've had to like kind of reimagine the show a little bit to pick select animals, so they're also getting a break, and I'm rotating them out because that's just way too much for any of them to handle. And
I was gonna say, that's nuts, and like not only for the animals to handle, but I'm thinking for like you guys to handle. On top. That's nuts.
Well, thankfully, there's 3 of them, and they choose like when they want to go too. And it's just like, I also have another friend that loves doing this too. He has not been exposed to the rest of the reptile community other than coming to the Gettysburg Reptile Expo and helping out there too. But he loves doing it, and with help from all of them, it kind of works out. But Jackie just started her own lawn care business and is like, I don't really want to do that with you anymore. He's like, I'll take care of them. But Jackie is also very shy. I don't know if you can tell, but she definitely enjoys the company of animals way better than people too. And she doesn't really know how to handle it when kids just don't listen. Like, some kids will like grab the snake, and she's like terrified that it's going to turn around and bite them. And I told them to let go, and they just didn't listen. Like, well, you have to like, kindly but forcefully take it away from them then. And like, she does not like confrontation at all, especially with a kid. So.
Well, I think that's where, like, for me, even I would struggle on that. I mean, if it's your own kid, it's one thing. Like,
Yeah.
It's when it's someone else's kid, especially in this day and age. If you do remotely the wrong thing, or you go to take something and someone thinks, oh, you hit their kid, or like that. Yeah, I can get it, Jackie. I can get it. I'm with you on that one. That would, because I've thought about doing the educational shows too. Like, I thought, all right, if I get a couple of different stuff, different species and this and that, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I really could. Like, I enjoy teaching people. I enjoy like the lives. My big reality check is when I'm laid off during the wintertime and I'm home, and because Kara babysits. So she'll have the two nephews, we'll have an hour or two, and then she's got like three others that'll be here. And it is complete and utter chaos. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good. Like, I can only, like, I just picture a birthday party, and that's exactly how that shit is. Complete chaos.
Well, like as my beginning as a balloon artist, doing mostly birthday parties, like that was one thing that always like stuck out to me. It was like seeing the house when you arrived for a party, and then like seeing it afterwards, just like the place is trashed when you have 20 kids there, and like they're not doing it on purpose, and adults are just as guilty of it too. But like they'll like leave a drink here, and then another kid comes over and knocks it over, and then everything's trash. And like I don't want to have birthday parties at our house. We'll rent out a venue.
And that's where like the barbecue that I do every year, like that's the big thing too. Like Kara, like I think she does it on purpose too. I've started noticing a pattern. Like the day before the barbecue, she'll go through and she'll clean the whole house, spotless. And then she goes, "Don't you dare let anybody walk on like the floors or anything, because the floors are clean." And the other thing, it's like, well, there's a few people that need to come in the house to go down to the snake room to get stuff. But I'm there thinking, it's like, she did that on purpose. So that so I had to make a path with blankets, or not blankets, but with towels. So I had to tell people, stay on the path, everybody. But then when I was cleaning up those towels and stuff, I'm like, wow, okay. So I get like, because like all the stuff that's falling off the one towel, I'm like, okay, like folded everything up a certain way, threw it downstairs. All right, she was right. I get why. So yeah, I do, man. Now, have you ever had anybody get bit?
No. Well, that's not entirely true. In the very beginning, actually my very first show, I should probably back up even more than that, but I didn't actually start doing the animals or keeping animals with the intention of doing shows. Again, my mother built this entertainment business, and then one of her clients was a preschool that had all sorts of other programs come in, and they had an issue with the guy that was coming in with the animals prior to me starting. So apparently he spoke inappropriately to the kids or something like that. I don't remember the deal. But my mom just said, "Oh, my son has reptiles. I'm sure he would love to do that." And then she booked it, and it's like, "Hey, you need to figure out a show and how you're going to talk to them and make it interesting and entertaining for an hour and a half." Like, how? At the time, I only had maybe, I don't even think I had 6 animals. It was a toad, a bearded dragon, a water dragon, a savanna monitor, and a red-footed tortoise. And I didn't have any snakes at the time. Like, I like snakes. When I started doing this, I liked snakes, but I hadn't had much exposure to them other than like wild ones that I would catch as a kid playing with them. And, those ones were more defensive and did bite. So I didn't have like a good interaction with a snake yet. So it was actually like over a year and a half in of kids asking me, "Mr. Dustin, why don't you have any snakes?" Where like I finally like bit the bullet because I was too embarrassed to keep telling them I'm afraid of them. So I got a ball python, and then that actually handling a snake, like, it changed immediately. But that very first, it was an Eastern painted turtle as well. So the very first show, I was walking around with the Eastern painted turtle, a little one, only about this big, and I did not have the head pointed towards myself. This little girl, it reached out and nipped the side of her finger, and then she said, "Hey, you bit me!" And then immediately the teacher said, "Oh no, it didn't. Just sit down." Like, I just went with it, and like I was like, she's like, "It just scratched you," and I just ignored the whole thing and kept going. So, but yeah, that was the only time that anybody has been bitten at a show, and it didn't draw blood or anything, but that was early on, and it like taught me some stuff very quickly that I needed to change. I have been bitten myself several times at shows, and almost like, have you been there for any of them? Yeah. So, but no, that very first time after that, like, just made me change all my practices, and basically keeping the head towards me in case anything did happen. And probably the worst one was early on, and I was like overly confident and cocky as well. And this, like, have you met the alligator Goliath?
I have seen you with the alligator. I have not like been close to the alligator though.
So I got her very early, and she was maybe like 6 inches at the time. So I got very comfortable with her, and like we were doing like a quick demo, letting her eat something in front of people because they loved it. And
okay. Well, that is a neat thing to see. I always enjoyed that aspect of the Discovery Channel, watching the alligators and the crocodiles eat stuff, because it is neat.
Yeah, and then so it was never anything live, but at this point when that happened, she was already like 2.5 feet long, maybe a little bit longer, and I'll have to send you a picture. I should have thought about that ahead of time, but they caught a perfect picture of the moment where she bit all 3 of these fingers right here, and my face is priceless for that. But anyway, like, I had 2 shows prior to that one that day, so I didn't have anything else with me that was better to feed her, and they asked, like, "Can you feed her something?" And then somebody brought over pulled pork. Hey, stop. And I couldn't hold it with the tongs. So I just held it in my fingers like this. No. Anyway, she grabbed the pulled pork and then also these 3 fingers with it. it did go all the way through, and like teeth protruded through the bone and everything.
Oh,
Thankfully, nothing was broken. I finished up the show, put her back in her crate, and then everybody came over to see my hand, and it actually didn't bleed very much.
really?
But yeah, it swelled up. Stop. But it swelled up really bad, and it took almost 3 months for me to get feeling back in it.
Oh wow, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He gets very jealous and wants people to pay attention to him. I'll let him come over, but Jasper is very, very leery of him.
I can't quite understand why. I mean, any interaction I've ever had with the bird, it has always been horrendous.
You say
He
hi.
is pretty.
All right. Well,
Hey,
hopefully that's it for him, and he doesn't keep screaming.
I've always, a friend of ours has, I forget what kind of parrot it is. It's a little parrot, but I always told him, it's like, when we get there, it's like, just please put the bird away. But they used to let it fly around and stuff, and every time we'd go in, the bird would attack me, my wife, or my son.
Yeah.
Every time, never failed. And I told my buddy the one day, I was like, next time that bird comes flying at me, looking like he's going to attack me, he's going to find out who's boss. But needless to say, I never had to do that. But man, like, it really made me not like birds.
Yeah, there's just, I don't know, you have to have a very specific personality to deal with them, and he's tested my patience too much, and Jackie's the only reason he's still here. I would have loved to have found him a new home by now.
So what you're saying is the bird is Jackie's then, basically, at this point.
Yeah. Well, so let's switch.
What up,
So before Jackie and I met, I lived just a few blocks away from here where we are now. And it's right in the downtown area of Gettysburg in the footpath of all of the bars. So at night, like, 2:15 in the morning when all the bars let out, people would walk by the house and then knock on the window to get the birds' attention to start like talking to all the birds. And at the time I had 2 macaws, a umbrella cockatoo, and him. And then so they obviously started picking up bad words as well. And so like, but he was actually very good about like staying quiet at night unless people like knocked on the window and engaged him. But when we moved in together, the teenage girls thought it was hilarious, like when they came home from school, to scream at him to get him worked up, and then he would mimic them and start screaming back. And like, how long did it take before you got tired of that too?
The first day.
But
Serenity were the ones who kept it going.
yeah, so they found it very amusing because they could retreat upstairs to their room, and then Jackie and I would be in here dealing with it for the next hour of him like continuing to scream, and then he says quite a few profane phrases too.
See that? All right. The only cool aspect about certain species of birds is the fact that they can talk. That is cool. I'd say if I had one, he would probably. I'd probably teach him some bad stuff. Just for the sheer ha.
like I had a military macaw. They're the ones that are all green and they have the red crest there too. I had him and I could never understand what he was saying. It was definitely a different language, but I didn't know what it was or how to find out what he was actually saying. And then I did a party for a Brazilian family, and they were cracking up like hysterically. And I couldn't figure out why, because my part of the show wasn't funny at all. It was very, I was just really thrown off by it. And then at the end of the show, the grandfather came over and said, "Do you know what he's saying?" like no. And he's like, he's speaking Portuguese, and he's saying all kinds of very, very colorful was the word he used. And like I still don't know his whole backstory, but he came from a rescue in Miami originally. So I think that he was actually seized by the Coast Guard and then relocated over to this rescue in Miami, and then from Miami came up to Fairfield, Pennsylvania, the East Coast Exotic Animal Rescue. That's where I keep some other animals, and they were looking for a new home for him, so he came over with me, and his name was Brat, and he was a very ornery bird, but he was my favorite. So that was pretty cool to find out that he was actually speaking Portuguese, and it was funny to learn all the things that he was actually saying.
Okay, what
But you know, these guys are very smart and they're stubborn, and they choose when they want to cooperate, and they're basically like a forever toddler with a very sharp beak.
Sharp beak and a loud mouth.
Okay,
So let's run another channel sponsor here, and then we'll keep on going. Let me actually get rid of the banner here quick.
Make sure you check out Nathan at Infinite Possible Pythons. He is your guy to go to if you want to get into the Bang project. On top of it, he's working a bunch of awesome ball python projects. Kahua geckos, Leachianus geckos, crested geckos, some scaleless corn snakes, and he is your one-stop shop for all your branding needs. So check him out. Make sure you check out Chris at S Reptilia. If you're looking for a ball python, boa, colubrid, blood python, he is the guy to go to. He's also a rat breeder on the eastern side of PA, and he is Pennsylvania's distributor of Cocoa to Go and the Chipper, which is by far the best cocoa substrate on the market today. So make sure you go ahead and check him out.
Chris, if you're watching this, dude, that's probably the last time you're going to hear that promo, because I do have your new promo up. So maybe I'll let you, if I remember to let you listen to it at Gettysburg, I'll get your approval on. If not, it's just going to air, and then you can tell me yay or nay, bro. So fly by the seat of the pants a little bit. I do want to give this man a shout out here real quick. One, Nathan himself. What's up, bro? Thanks for tuning in. And two,
hi, Nathan.
This guy here, Charlie Gray Rider Reptiles, shedtesting.com, guys. Use code CARPET15. Get that 15% off shedtesting.com. Thank you very much, Charlie, for all the support, bro. And I need to get your promo worked up. My apologies. I don't have it already. It's just been it's been crazy like the past 2 weeks. It's been freaking crazy, bro. And also this man here, Avelio, what's up, bro? It was good to see you yesterday. Glad that you have your beautiful jungle carpet there finally. Hope he does well with you. Anxious to see him as he grows up. Yes, we will see you this weekend, Nathan. Super excited. If anybody didn't get to see, go check out my Instagram or Facebook. There's pictures of the new setup, and the badassness of that setup is due to that man right there. The banner, the new tablecloth, it's all Nathan. So go check it out. I need to get the banner up a little bit higher, but definitely freaking love the new setup. So thank you very much, Nathan. Appreciate it, bro. So now, how big's the alligator right now? Like, I do love the fact you guys have an alligator, and it kind of, I'm curious about it. So how big is the gator right now?
So our alligator Goliath is like 5'4", and then I work with another alligator there too. Her name's Petunia, and she's about 6'2", but both of them are much smaller than they should be, just because we live so far north and they're not getting the right UVB exposure that they would in the wild, and that has like severely impacted their metabolism and their appetite as well. So both of them are much smaller than they should be. I don't actually know exactly where Petunia came from or exactly how old she is, but Goliath actually came from a frat house in the Pittsburgh area. And when we got her, she was only like, I don't know, about that big. So she's actually 13 years old now, and she's only 5'2" or 3. So it's hard to compare, but everything I've read and heard from other people say that the indeterminate growth and variability on that can be anywhere from 1 inch to 12 inches in the first 3 years of their life. So she was doing pretty much middle of the road on track with that for about the first 2 or 3 years. She doubled size in the first year, and then it just seemed kind of stagnant after that. But it's hard to gauge when you see the animal every single day too, and I can't tell until I look back on pictures from say 2015 or something and see how much girth she's put on. But it's also difficult to actually measure an alligator too. It's basically the way I do it is I try to get her to lay flat on the floor or a table, and then do a chalk line in the front, chalk line in the back, and then let her go, and then just measure that. So
that's actually, that's actually not that bad of a system. That's actually probably about as easy as you can get. Now, when you do the shows with them, I assume that you probably have to tape their mouths shut, or do you not? Maybe you don't. I don't know. I feel as though, and maybe it's just the way alligators are portrayed, that whenever everybody's working with them, that they always have the mouths taped shut.
There's definitely a huge controversy with that amongst crocodilian keepers too. And then the uneducated public, there's a very loud group that says that that's inhumane and you should never do that. But in my opinion, I just can't take the risk or liability of having anything go wrong. So while other people are interacting with her, I always have her mouth taped. And the only time that other people see her without her mouth taped is at the very end of the show. Before I put her back in her crate, I remove the tape so she's not, stuck in the car ride with her mouth taped all the time. Because, it is kind of inhumane. Can you imagine us having our mouth taped for 2 or 3 hours at a time? That would suck. So
I was gonna say that would suck. Yeah,
right. I try to limit her time with her mouth taped as much as possible, but it's just kind of something that is a necessity. I could also choose just not to bring her anymore, but that is the way that people get exposed to them and learn about them too. And I'm very clear with my message that these pets are not for everybody. There are definitely species that are much better suited for captivity. And you can see that by going to shows what is most popular amongst the breeders too. But I don't think that the majority of people, myself included, are actually equipped to deal with a fully grown crocodile. Like,
as I said, I think that takes a special person.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people that even have them probably aren't really as fully equipped as what they should be for them.
yeah, and like it's kind of sad when you like talk to people that do keep them, like the minimum requirement for keeping them, like a lot of people barely have enough of a water area for them to even turn around in. And I don't know what zoo standards are, but I know that they're pretty low too.
Yeah, I said we were just up at Zoo America up there in Hershey, and the alligator they had. I'm gonna say its water area might. I mean, I could probably have laid down in it, and I'm 6 foot. I mean, it was at least 6 foot by how. I mean, their enclosures were pretty wide, but the water area is. I mean, it might be. It might have been a 10-foot water area, maybe something like that, but it's not. Like, they're not going to get to really swim.
No. Thankfully, most crocodilian species don't really prefer deep water either. A lot of times they are in the much shallower areas, except for like saltwater crocodiles and such. They usually are in a much shallower area in the wild too, by choice. So that part, it makes it easier for us to replicate, but still, like for an animal that can get over 10 feet long, and putting them in an 8-foot pond is not really like something I want to do.
Now, would it be easier or better? Like, because here again, I don't know my crocodilians, but like a dwarf caiman. Would a dwarf caiman be a better suited animal than an alligator then, maybe? Or
I think a dwarf caiman could be a good fit for longevity of it, to make sure that you're like using the same animal. But dwarf caimans also have a much bigger attitude and are a lot more flighty. Don't necessarily like handle being touched by other people very well. Like ours is very much acclimated to people touching her. And I think just in general, like most of the crocodilian species can last more than 80 plus years in captivity too. So it's just like a matter of space too. Like right now, I'm looking at the space that I have available and knowing that I will need to do an upgrade for the alligator as is. And I've been looking at it, like the enclosure that I have set up for the alligator could house like a dwarf caiman or one of the other caiman species for its entire life. And I'm going to have to do an upgrade for an alligator anyway. So I have been thinking about that, but right now I don't actually own that space. I'm renting it, and they're being very generous, like allowing me to keep the animals there. It is an exotic animal rescue anyway, but it's still not my space. And there's also a huge liability with putting thousands of gallons of water indoors anywhere too. Like they can't really stay outside all year round here.
Oh God, no! As I say, especially up here, yeah, that wouldn't fly. Now, the way the weather's been here lately, yeah, they'd probably fly.
Yeah,
man, wintertime. Oh no!
Right, and it's interesting because I do know of a few keepers in our general area that do keep them outside, even in the wintertime, but they have a heated pond. And I've heard of a place in Colorado that has natural hot springs where the alligators will be outside even in the snow too. So, they're highly adaptable. And I think that we don't really know all the conditions that they can tolerate, but it's just not something that is easily feasible where we live to do.
Yeah. No, I get that. That makes sense. Now, what do you guys like? What do you use snake wise for your shows now?
So I was using a few different larger constrictors. Another friend was allowing me to use his boa, and then we have a reticulated python. But both of those animals bit me at a show as well, so I've retired them just to be at-home pets too. And I just bring king snakes right now, a sand boa, and ball pythons. I did have a carpet python, and that was like a very unfortunate thing too. It was short-lived, but we had a thermostat failure, and it cooked all the snakes that were in front of the gas heater there too. So it was one of those big forced air heaters. The thermostat failed in the on position and just cooked everything in front of it. It was pretty awful. But I brought that one over to you. I was
gonna actually ask you about if you were gonna use that carpet.
Yeah,
because that's like one animal that, I mean, they don't get big, but they're just eye-catching. I always thought carpets would be that perfect animal as long as you had one that didn't want to, that was socialized,
Yeah, and this one was really great. He was pretty decent sized already, and he was like really great for the show, especially with the prehensile tail, like being able to show that off, like just showing some differences that each species has makes it a little more interesting too. But I don't think I'm going to get any new snakes for a while. I'm still trying to plan out the space that we do have with the thought in mind of upgrading the space for a bigger alligator and possibly bringing in a caiman too. So I may even be looking for a new home for our big reticulated python too, because he's just shown with his attitude and behavior that he also does not enjoy being poked at and having hundreds of kids touch him. He tolerates one-on-one handling just fine, but it's a whole different aspect when you have like kids in particular being very loud and just grabby.
Loud, grabby, very fast, unaware moving.
Right.
And yeah.
I think that the fast moving definitely plays a huge part with the snake's behavior too. I love him. I think he's awesome, but the feeling is not mutual.
I think that would be like my biggest fear, especially like with one of the larger constrictors, like a retic, a berm. I'll even lump the boas in there, like, because I know I've heard my buddy Mike that bred boas. I remember him telling me about the one of his that bit him. And he goes, it was like a freaking cheese grater, man. He goes, it was unlike anything else he had ever experienced. I mean, it didn't help that when the thing bit, he yanked back. But still.
We actually do a demo of that pretty regularly in the show, not totally intentionally, but with a much smaller king snake. This is an albino California king snake, and if you do go on the YouTube channel, I think we have 2 or 3 videos of it, but I bring the king snake out immediately after handling the ball pythons with the thought that it's probably going to bite me because it's just the way she behaves. She is very, very much interested in food all the time, and
And she likes.
yeah, and she bites herself pretty regularly too. So that that makes the show more interesting. And since it's a smaller snake, it's not jostling or scaring the people watching. Like, especially since most of this audience is not very aware or familiar with snakes, and they've been demonized to them. So I don't mind taking a little bite on my hands from a little snake to show them that it's not as bad as they might think it is. And a lot of people really enjoy that. So I'm not doing anything like, really to prevent it, but I do show them, like, to have a constrictor release, you actually want to push the head in further to allow the teeth to release, and like talk about how much worse it could be if you jerk away. And then I do go into why, larger constrictors might not be the best fit for everybody. Like that snake that you get in a deli cup today, next year could be, 3 feet long, and then, eventually up to, 15 feet. Most people are not equipped to deal with a giant constrictor long term either.
See, now I think I think is very important that you bring that up, and that you bring that to their attention as well, because a lot of people, I don't think, do realize that little snake you're going to get does grow up. And I don't want to say they grow up quick, but let's face it, I mean, they do grow quick.
Yeah, especially if the conditions are right and you're feeding them right, they do grow very, very quick. And like it's definitely a learning curve for somebody like dealing with a large constrictor the first time around. Like your interactions with them affects how they're going to behave too. And when you handle them like you're going to get bit, the snakes respond negatively too, I think. So
yeah. So I know, like, working with some of the carpet, like some of the baby carpets from this clutch or the past 2 clutches, some of them don't care. They're very mellow. There's a couple. I had one bit me Friday night when I put it into its end of the display case for the show, and Saturday all day that little sucker sat facing me, not even facing out where everybody's walking past it. He's literally sat there facing me, cocked and ready to rock my world, man. Like, he was like ready to light me up the whole day. It's like, just turn around, like, watch the other people. Like, don't watch. Like, I'm not trying to hurt you, but I know getting bit by them doesn't hurt. And like the one when we were filming the carpet python video, the one bit me, and Dom goes, doesn't that hurt? It's like, no, it's like, it doesn't hurt. You feel the little pricks from the teeth. I was like, but it doesn't hurt. It's the shock that it happened. I was like, and it's just talking yourself through the fact that shock doesn't hurt. It just, that's the hard part. And so, like, I don't want to say willingly putting your hand there, but like that, you had to, in my eyes, really train yourself to allow it. Because I try to get used to it. I still have yet to just like fully just own it yet. I still every once in a while do a little jerk. It's just like, man, one of these days I'll get the hang of it and learn to take a hit.
I used to like this. I think I got my first carpet python in 2014, and that one was very feisty, especially while it was younger, and it would bite all the time too. And I stopped like trying to handle that one as much at shows, and just like handled him as little as possible so he wouldn't bite. Not because I was worried about getting bit by him, but a bite from a carpet python versus a king snake just bleeds a lot more and did more to scare people. And it was like, well, this isn't really working out. So, but he eventually like chilled out a lot more too. But like the second you had him out like this, he was like locking on to something.
Well, and that's the one thing. Like I had somebody at the show yesterday. They were looking at a ball python, and then they noticed the carpets, and then they wanted to check out one of the carpets because they were like, I literally thought they went from a ball python to wanting to buy a carpet, like right then and there, like instantly 0 to 100. And I got out the one female, and I was telling she's calm now. It's like you get her home, you get her into an enclosure. I'm saying I can't guarantee you she will be this calm then. It's like she's been calm at home. She's calm here. She probably would be fine. I was like, but if you look at these other two little jerks, and I pointed to the other two of the males I had with me, I was like, more than likely she'll turn into this for a little bit. You just got to walk her through it.
Yeah, we've been duped by a few animals at expos too. Like there's an iguana over here, and like I can't remember who it was, but they had multiple iguanas just sitting out, like not in enclosures, just sitting on top of the tubs. And all of them were just sitting there totally chill. People were walking up and petting them the whole time, and they barely moved at all, but they were alert, they were aware, they were like vibrantly colored. So I wasn't like looking at them like, oh, something's wrong with them, they're sick. It's like, wow, these guys are super, super chill. Like, and I like was like thinking, okay, an iguana is a very impressive animal for a show too, especially when they get up to 6 feet long. And if we can get one of these that's this chill, that would be amazing. So like we got him home. He was okay for the first day, and then we like moved him up to a better enclosure after we got it all set up, and he just lost it. Like like a typical wild iguana behaves. He just like wanted nothing to do with us. He was like tail whipping, and he wouldn't stop either. It was just when anybody walked in the room, not even looking at him, not like going in his direction at all, he would whip his tail to the point where he actually broke the end of his tail off, and he had a big like club on the end of his tail that didn't like regrow properly, and it kind of forked, and he has two little tiny nubs on the end of the tail where it started to regrow, but it's a big bulky thing at the end too. And the vet like talked about possibly amputating and letting it regrow the right way, but it's like I don't think it's worth putting him through the trauma unless you like can't stand looking at it. It's like it doesn't bother me, but I wanted to, but yeah, he's been with us for 2.5 years now, and we've let him free roam here and there, but he still just does not want to be touched. And like he's chilled out quite a bit more, especially with Jackie. Jackie's the one that does most of the feedings for everybody and cleaning, because I don't do a good enough job. So she doesn't want me to do it. So big loss there for me, right?
I was gonna say, I don't know. I think I'd maybe stuck at doing a few more things if Jackie's gonna take over. Sorry, Jackie. I gotta say it for Dustin here. Dustin, what don't you like doing that maybe you could suck at a little bit more?
She doesn't let me load the dishwasher anymore either, or mow the lawn, because she started her lawn care business. I don't do a good job mowing the lawn either, so like
my bush with a machete.
Yeah, that might have happened too.
I think it does. I think you lead the life, my friend.
Yeah, I get to play with all the animals and do all the fun stuff, and like none of the crap work.
You see, damn. And Jackie, you'd rather do all of that than go and work with these animals?
It's not working with the animals. It's working with me. She's like, you're a dickhead. Working with you sucks.
Well, all right, because I'm going to pull Jackie out of her comfort zone just a little bit. She said, "Oh no, I gotta go do those dishes Dustin didn't do." Jackie, what's your favorite animals to work with during the shows?
During the shows, that's a hard one.
Really?
Well, they scratch me.
We all know it.
I say the bearded dragon.
Okay.
But her favorite is the ferrets. She just doesn't like handling them during the show because they do get amped up and, you know, do the little thing and scratch, and she's worried they're going to destroy her ink, and she's got some pretty good tattoos, so I don't blame her there.
That I get that. That makes sense. I'd be, if you got some expensive ink work done, yeah, I'd be worried about them little suckers then too.
Yeah, like ferrets are adorable, but they are disgusting. You know, like when they're sold here in the States, at least, the first thing they do when they're old enough is remove their scent glands, and then ferrets naturally want to be smelly, so they will do things like roll around in their own urine or poop to like make themselves stinky again. And if you are putting them in a carrier to take them to the vet or to an event, they're going to get that on their nails too. And that's one thing that, you know, I tell everybody at the shows too. You can pet them on the top, and we have a general rule for pretty much all the animals is that we only pet them on their backs. We don't touch the heads or the tails because, you know, a lot of them do have sensitive tails that can break off, but mostly I don't want them putting their fingers underneath any of the animal's fingers, and there's much less risk for contamination that way. Like, you know, let's say the ferret does scratch somebody with that poop on their claws, like that could be a pretty nasty infection, even if it's only a surface scratch. So, you know, that's another thing that we do to be preventative. We just don't allow any of the animals to be pet underneath.
That's actually, I didn't think about that, but that's actually a good preventative measure. Like that's some smart thinking on that one.
Well, you know, like when there's constantly like scares with salmonella, and like you read an article saying that like a chain of 30 daycares has been shut down linked to bearded dragons or something, and then like the next week that I'm doing shows, that's all they're asking me about. And like I do try to go in a brief explanation about, yes, it's a real concern, but if you have proper husbandry and you're not letting the animals walk around in their own feces, you don't have to worry about it. And that you're like just as likely to pick up salmonella from your produce or eggs that you get. Like, it just, if you're not like taking proper precautions with that stuff too, and then like our vet told us a similar story about that at his kids' daycare. They blamed him for them having an outbreak there, but there are actually different strains of salmonella as well. And he did the testing and confirmed that none of his animals had salmonella, and that it was a different strain or whatever. So they could confirm for sure that it was not the cause of it, but that's not what the school or the news picked up. So it's ridiculous. But you know, when you're dealing with the public, and especially a public that does not have the same interest or is educated about it, Elliot is down on the ground now, like biting my feet. So that's why they're all shuffled over.
I'm not wearing shoes.
But yeah, like, so it's been very informative for me as a keeper as well, because there's things that other people ask that I would have never even thought of or considered, but it is a genuine concern for people. So those things, like when they're brought to light, I try to figure out ways to make that less scary as well.
That makes sense. That's good.
Like I love what I do, and I want this next generation of keepers to have all the same opportunities that we have right now too. And if there isn't like a bigger voice or like population that's interested in, we're going to lose a lot of the freedoms we have right now because nobody's talking about it. The U.S. ARC is amazing, but they can't reach everybody either. And they're not. I don't know how much outreach they're doing to kids, but like there's a part that, or there's something that all of us can do, and like I just try to make sure that I'm not like downplaying any of these concerns that people express, but that I'm as informed and educated about it as I can be too.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. I'm going to run the last two sponsor ads because I know if I don't run them now, it'll be so late in the show. We're already at like an hour and a half. Believe it or not, like I told you, time flies.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to keep it to 2 hours, but something tells me we're not going to be able to do that. We'll maybe end up going a little bit over. But let me run these last two sponsor ads. It'll be 4 ads total, everybody. Please watch them because this is the last time you guys are going to get to see some of them in this form. So all right, here we go.
Can't find that missing piece of your breeding project? Hit up Triforce Morphs. They've been in the industry for 10 years and counting. They're working heavily with clown pieds, hypoclowns, hypopieds, along with lace, citron, and the Matter project. Can't let out the fact that they have crested geckos as well. Trust, respect, and integrity. That's the Triforce way. Are you ready to take it to the next level? Then check out DTMG Pythons. Danny is best known for his awesome clown ball python projects. This year his focus is Confusion, Hurricane, and Disco Inferno clowns. He also specializes in high-end crested gecko morphs such as Exantic, Lily White, and Exantic Lily Whites, along with the Deadpool line of gargoyle geckos. Check out his morph market and Instagram, DTMG Pythons. Lucas Landon Royals produces some truly high caliber snakes. Kai has been breeding ball pythons for 6 seasons and counting. He's working toward multi-recessive combos such as DG Clown, Hypo Clown Pied, Sunset Candy Pied, and DG Exantic Pied. He's working with several other species of snakes, but next year he's going to start breeding Boa Imperators, and he also has a small group of super dwarf retics. So be on the lookout for some super dwarf cow retics. Become a royal at Lucas Landon Royals. If you want to use the best reptile record keeping and tracking software on the market today, scan the QR code or click our partnership link in the description down below for a free 30-day trial of Husbandry Pro. I promise you, you will not regret it.
And make sure you guys use code WARFEL60 to make that 30 days turn into 60 days free. Give it a shot, guys. I think you will. I think you'll jump on the bandwagon with that one. Husbandry Pro has been doing their own YouTube channel as well, where they've get different partners to do an episode once a week. I did one a couple weeks back. They wanted me to do one this week, or not this week, but this month. And with my show schedule for the next 2 months, it just wasn't going to be feasible definitely for this month anyway. So there's just a lot going on here. But code WARFEL60, guys, gets you 60 days free. All right, now that the ads are over, and Danny, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I cut your ad a second short. I clicked the button before it was an accidental click. Anyway, like I said before, several of those ads are going to change for the next one, or at least they should. I just got to get things switched around. But anyway, for someone that's looking to get into doing educational programs, what are some of your tips towards them, and what animals as well should they maybe put some focus on making sure that they have for these programs?
It's a really good question, and it's one that I've been thinking about doing a entire video dedicated to startup of your own educational program too. And I think the biggest thing to ask yourself before you commit to doing it is whether you actually like kids or not. That's a pretty big deal. Like,
Yeah.
we get so many repeat clients, and they were using somebody else prior to that, and then their reviews to us are, you guys are so amazing with the kids. You love what you do. You talk to them at their level, and you're engaging them. And like, and when I hear that stuff, I'm like, well, what did the last guy do? And then I hear all kinds of crazy stories about like them just going into a little more graphic details about some of the reproductive things that the animals do to like 3 and 5 year olds or whatever, and you know, like yelling at the kids and telling them that they're going to get bit if they don't shut up. So, you know,
Oh
like,
God, no, yeah, that's definitely something you don't do.
yeah, right. So I would definitely like say you need to ask yourself if you really like kids, because there is a market for educational programs that aren't made for kids. We do a lot of nursing homes as well, and you know, they do bring grandkids in, and so you are still dealing with kids, but I would say the majority of that is going to be dealing with kids. I know in our particular area, it is a very saturated market. There's Reptile Invasion and Gen's Uncommon Critters, and both of them do amazing shows too. And we're all three of us are very different in our approach to it, but they are genuinely interested in educating and improving the industry too. They're both rescues that do an amazing job taking care of unwanted animals. And like, I would say that that's a good source to get animals for these shows too, is taking in ones that need homes so that you are able to adopt them out as well. And yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing. Secondly, I would make sure that you get a good underwriter for your liability insurance. Like, a lot of companies don't have, you know, something written up specifically for what we're doing, and a lot of them don't want to take the time to write something up either. So I've found that there's very select few companies that will even insure you for that kind of thing, or they don't understand what you're doing. You almost want to talk to somebody on a like personal level and go in person and have them write up your contract. Because the first company that I was using for my liability insurance didn't understand exactly what we were doing, but they did like large exhibit stuff. But then, like, going forward, thankfully I never had to use the liability insurance to like file a claim or anything. But after using them for about 2 years, when we went through the specifics of the contract, I found out I was not actually covered for anything, because they were covering me for a permanent exhibit. Like, if something had happened out of school or something like that, they would have not honored any of it.
Oh wow!
I was paying a lot of money, like $3,000 a year, to be insured, and that was prior to even having an alligator. And everything went up after, including an alligator and large constrictors. Everything, like, and it's strange because a lot of them were more concerned about the liability of where the animals were being kept too. Like, when they heard that that the animals were under a handler's care the entire time, and there was very limited chance of an incident happening, they were more concerned about somebody getting hurt at the property too. And if that was, I don't know if they were just trying to sell an additional thing to cover the property as well, but I don't know. But that's something I would look into and figure out the costs of that before you like invest too much time and energy into doing it, because I don't think anybody should be going out and doing a show unless they can, cover their ass if something does happen. And like you also want to make sure that if something does happen, you can take care of the kid that is affected by it. And then as far as what animals to start with, I would say like whatever is in your collection already. You don't have to have a huge menagerie to start doing it. If you have a little bit of showmanship and are able to talk about the animals in an interesting way, I think you could do a pretty good show with just 3 or 4 animals. Like our kids, they help out with the show a lot too, and they have their own animals that they like to bring too. Like Jasper has a guinea pig right now and rats, and we do bring them sometimes too. Our other daughter has a giant Flemish or a Flemish giant mix. Right, he's a big rabbit.
Okay, I was gonna say, what the hell's this? Because that meant nothing to me until you said the big giant rabbit thing. Okay, I know the big giant rabbit thing then, because the fish place over here by me used to have. I think that's what it was going.
That's where we got him. How close are you to that fish place, that pet place?
Dude, I'm like literally 10 minutes away.
No way.
Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
like literally 10 minutes away. I'm between Columbia and Mount Joy.
Okay, right on.
And Donegal High School is literally 3 minutes down the road, basically.
Oh, for some reason, I thought you were much closer to Philly.
No. To get to Gettysburg, it only takes me an hour, maybe hour and 10, something like that, depending on traffic.
Yeah, my son's mother lives in Columbia, like probably 4 blocks away from the Turkey Hill Experience. So I know exactly where that is.
All right, yeah, no, dude, I could get there and I don't know, probably about 10 minutes, maybe less.
Nice.
Sweet. So now, what was I going to say? Drawing a blank. I was doing all good tonight. We didn't have any blonde moments. I'm in a blonde moment now.
I saw somebody asking in the comments there if we were allowed to tell them what the balloon animal was going to be for the Gettysburg show, and we can't say that because it's supposed to be a surprise for everybody and a little bit of a guessing game the day before. So I will be posting or giving Joe a picture to post as a preview to get everybody a hint of what we're making, but we can't tell you yet.
And for anybody that doesn't know, when the balloon sculptures that are in the ads, everybody for the Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC, Dustin's the guy that does them. So of course you all know which one was my favorite. Of course it had to be the card. But I gotta say, dude, that frog you did this last time, I think the frog was the frog was
November, I think, and then
you did a spider this last one.
Yes, yeah. The tarantula was the March show, and was the axolotl before or after? Yeah, they all blend together.
They're blended. The spider was cool. That red-eyed tree frog, though, dude, like that was nuts. Like your balloon sculptures just blow me away. Like I have no idea. Like you have to have this special vision to be able to see it and how to do it, and like how do you even do it? Like how do you take this image and transfer it into balloon form?
I still don't know how to like accurately describe the process that I go through because I've been doing this for 20 years now, and I've been asked to teach at balloon conferences about my process and design of how everything comes together. And I've constantly turned the promoters down for doing that class because I don't really know how to fill a 6-hour class on just how my brain works. Like I can teach them my designs like all day long, but I can't really like express how I looked at this shape and broke it down into, okay, I know how to achieve that. And like there's like tons of techniques as far as balloon twisting goes, but I don't use all of them on a regular basis. Like maybe this will help with a visual aid. I'll be right back.
All right. While Dustin's going and getting whatever he's getting, folks, this weekend is the Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC. Make sure you guys do come out. It will be what in the shenanigans? We got like a it's a evil clown.
Yeah, I have a delivery for a horror fan tomorrow. So they asked for Pennywise, but can't fit his whole body in the frame here. He's got the weird arms on this one.
Okay, I know which ones you're. The one he had like the praying mantis arms or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Because this particular client has asked for all sorts of horror themed things every week. When I see them, it's actually for their adult daughter, but it's her birthday this week too. So I'm delivering this tomorrow for her to drop off for the party. But like what I was trying to say is like there's things like this little bubble here. This is called a pinch twist, and this is like a loop twist, and then the other things are just straight bubbles. So there's not really like too many different things once you know the basics of how it actually works. It's all just a matter of using those shapes and distorting them to get a different look, basically, and changing proportion size and stuff. Like the nose right here is the exact same as this piece of hair over here, this piece of hair right here. It's just different sizes. And like when I start, like even when I start talking to other balloon professionals, like the way I'm breaking it down, they just look at me like I'm crazy. And they're like, do you have a recipe for that? I'm like, no, not really. So, like, it makes trying to sell it kind of hard. And the other thing that I was made aware of when I first started teaching too, is that I moved too fast, or was moving too fast for other people to really see what I did. So I put out like 4 educational tutorials in the beginning, and like didn't get any feedback until later. And they just said, we love your designs, but we just don't even know how to keep up. Like even with pausing it and then rewinding, we still couldn't see what you were doing. It's like, okay, that's very helpful. And then moving forward, I adjusted that too. So I think like there's a lot of elements of teaching other people balloons, and even teaching workshops to kids with balloons that has transferred over to doing the educational shows too, and has helped me be a better educator. And that, like, so I think that just dipping your feet in and trying is probably another good tip, like for anybody doing it. There's always a need for preschools and schools to fill time with programs and stuff like that. So if you're not confident enough to start charging right away, I'm sure that you could find somewhere to volunteer to get yourself some promotional pictures and videos and stuff to get you started. Libraries are really good for that too.
Oh, okay.
I think I jumped track there and went back to a topic we already moved past, though, right?
No, you're fine, dude. You're fine. Like the show has real no. I like just having the pure chemistry of the show go. So no, you're good. You're good. Like, now I do with the balloon thing, I do want to say, is there a certain type of balloon that you use? Because that Michelangelo that I begged you for at the one show, and you were so kind to let me bring it home for my daughter.
Yeah.
Like that thing lasted at least 4 or 5 months.
Nice.
Like until it finally started losing air and started like Mikey started getting some deformities going on, and I kept having to try to do different things to try to, keep Mikey just kind of there on life support essentially.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
there's got to be special balloons to last that long.
Yeah, they are a better quality balloon than something you might get at Dollar Tree or something like that. There's like 4 different brands that I use for most of them. But like COVID destroyed the supply chain with that as well. Like it still has not come back yet. The main the main producer of a lot of the balloons here in the United States, or possibly the only one that was actually manufactured here in the States, filed bankruptcy, and they're like trying to come back. I think somebody else bought them, but now I'm having to source balloons from different places, and I'm finding a lot of inconsistency with quality in general. But like there's basically 3 companies that I use, and they are much better. They just have better quality control. The latex is thicker, so the thicker walls of the latex will actually help hold the air in so they don't deflate as fast. But pretty much the basic science of how balloons work, almost all balloons are going to lose like 50% of their air volume in the first 24 hours. And then once that's released that much air, there's not as much pressure on the walls of the balloon, so it doesn't deflate as quickly, but so it does maintain for longer. But that also depends on the quality of the balloons you're getting. There's all sorts of tricks that you can use too. There's something called high float that essentially is a glue or a paste that you like squirt into the balloon before it's inflated, and then it creates a seal. The balloons are kind of similar to our skin. They have pores, they breathe, and there is it's not. I don't even remember what the actual word is for that, because it's not osmosis, where osmosis is water exchange, but the air molecules from inside the balloon do move back and forth. Anyway, yeah, it really just has to do with balloons are a natural product that degrades too. So like how they're stored prior to you getting them has a lot of effect on that too. And an older balloon is just going to be crappier too. So if it's in the regular retail market, those balloons have probably been sitting around in conditions where nobody really thought or cared about how they were being stored. So the general public is probably getting deteriorated stuff already. I hear from a lot of people that they got a balloon kit and like every single balloon they blow up pops, but we get those same kits and we teach people with them and sell those kits, and the ones we're using are fine because they're brand new.
Gotcha. See that now? I'm going to kind of jump around here a little bit too. Do you feel as though, with having the balloon aspect, that makes your program even more entertaining? Not only just because you have the educational aspect, but because you can do the balloon entertainment end of it as well. So you can make a balloon alligator for a kid, like you can do all those other things. Like, do you feel as though that brings that I'm going to say a crap ton of extra value? Because personally, I feel as though it would, but maybe it's only for certain programs it does though too.
Right. It is. It's definitely certain programs. For a birthday kit, for example, that's a really good, easy add-on for me or the company to sell because that's all about one kid and making them feel extra special. So they can commission me to build a special sculpture that might take me 3 hours to build in advance. But the library or the preschool or elementary school can't spend that kind of money to try to make all the kids feel special. So it's usually separated by like, well, they'll bring us in 2 times or even more, where they'll have a day where they do a workshop where we actually teach all the kids how to make their own balloons and then give them something a little bit nicer but not too fancy, and then they might like bring us back for the animal show. And we also have face painters, magicians, and all of those things too. My first like adventure into entertainment was actually as a magician too. My mom again had booked a show without telling me, and like, my very first time in front of an audience, I was no, I wasn't 14 yet. I must have been 13. And she had me dress up as Harry Potter. We did the little scar on my forehead, and then I actually broke my own glasses. I don't know why I thought that was necessary. I could have just put tape on them and not broken them, but that like performing as Harry Potter was my very first like show, and then we taught all the kids how to make their own little balloon swords, and we charged $400 for that show for 1 hour, and then the client actually tipped me another $400 on top of that. So
wow.
immediately I was incentivized, like, hey, this is really cool. I can make a lot of money. And like, I'm 13, 14 at the time, and then she started bringing me to the conferences and conventions with her, and I won first place in 3 different categories the first time I competed on the national level here. So at 14 years old, that was a huge confidence boost for me.
Right.
And like, I wouldn't say I was like a loser, but I really didn't have like a lot of friends. I didn't quite fit in high school. We had just moved to a very much rural part of Pennsylvania, and I just left like a very busy area in Germany. We lived there for 14 years before that too. So it was a huge like culture shock for me. And then like getting into the balloons like allowed me to feel good about something I was doing, I guess. And people thought it was really cool and talked to me for that reason. Like, so of course I loved it. But yeah, the animals was always my real true passion though. Like I would do this even if there was no money in it. Like I couldn't do it all the time because I would still need to make money. But now that things have shifted and we're getting a lot of repeat clients for the animal show, I'm waning off on the balloon stuff or not doing as much of it because my whole schedule's filled with the animal shows, and I love it. I
got your schedules booked up.
Right. Like I still love creating art, but like doing sculptures like this or the things that I do for the Gettysburg Reptile Expo, those are things that I'm choosing to make as an artist. It's not like a line of like 50 people just coming up and like saying that they want that unicorn that little girl has, and then I'm making the same thing 20 times in a row for 3 hours or whatever. Like, kids have great imaginations, but they're influenced like really easily too. Like, so they might see another kid has something, and then like, especially with when Frozen was so popular, I would spend like all day only making Elsa for like 4 hours straight, and like not that anything's wrong with Elsa, but like it was like miserable as an artist wanting to create other things. Like, you guys know I can make like Ariel or a rainbow or a transformer or whatever else, and they're like, that's cool. Can you make me an Elsa?
Oh man! All right, it's funny because Hadley would probably make you make a Stitch, if not a Ninja Turtle again. Kara would definitely take you up on the Ariel thing, though, for sure. 100% she'd take you up on Ariel. Greg, hopefully
I'll make sure I'll send you home with something cool.
Oh, they'll love it. Thank you. Greg, we will see you at Gettysburg this weekend, and make sure you are ready to take your girl home because she is ready. She'll be ready to rock and roll for you. So make sure you are prepared to take your carpet home with you. Thankfully, everything worked out just the way I was hoping it would. So excited to get your carpet in your hands as well, dude. Now, Dustin, we're at almost that 2-hour mark. I'm going to try to be good, and we're going to try to, because I feel as though you probably want to go to sleep. Jackie's just probably sitting there. She's probably thinking, my God, this just doesn't end. I'm just ready to get up and go do something.
I can't speak for her, but I think she's having fun because she already like told me ahead of time. She's like, I'm going to sit in because you asked me to. I want to be supportive, but I don't think I can sit in for the whole thing.
Good then. All right, we're good. Now, if you don't mind, can you go over your packages that you offer briefly? Just so that way people that are listening or tuning in can, if they want to hit you up, they've already kind of got like an idea as to what some of your packages are.
Yeah, I can't really speak to all of the things we offer because I actually have like zero involvement in that part of the business. I'm not patient or tolerant enough to talking to people on the phone or responding to emails with like very, very natural, simple questions of like them asking what they're going to get. And I just like, it says it right there. Can't you read it? Like, I'm the worst person to be answering stuff on the phone. Like when it comes to, their kids like special day and they just want to know what they're going to be getting. Like I can't do that. So thankfully, like, my mom actually does most of that still, and she has an office assistant that does that too. But we generally do like a 2-hour minimum for any of the services like balloons, face painting, airbrush tattoos, glitter tattoos, any of that stuff. Just because, like we kind of need somebody to hire somebody on our end to even like want to go out. They almost need a 2-hour minimum because they're in the car for a minimum of an hour, like there and back to get to this person's event. So those services start around like 125 to 175 for face painting or balloons, and then we have tiers from there too, based on the artist's skill level too. Like right now, if somebody specifically requests me as a balloon artist, the rate is actually like 300 an hour versus 175. But most of the people that are actually requesting me can see the difference, so we don't have a big challenge of marketing that. They already know, and they're like, yes, we still want Dustin. But then like for me right now, the animal show is still paying better unless it's a multiple hour event doing balloons too. So, and I prefer doing the animal shows. So like we try to fill my schedule up with those more anyway, but like prepping for a show can take up to an hour getting them ready. Usually unpacking doesn't take nearly as long. It's like they're not fighting me to like.
They want to come out. They don't want to go in.
Yeah, like I probably should rephrase that because it sounds terrible that I'm like forcing these animals to go, but like, you know, it's not really that I'm forcing them or anything, but you know, sometimes it is difficult to get in a pond and pull an alligator out. So I have to make sure that I have time in advance and that I'm leaving early enough in case it is problematic, you know, because she is very, very tolerant and cooperative most of the time. But if she isn't, it could be very miserable for me, and I could like, you know, have to change my clothes and, you know, like dry myself off, you know. But most of the time it's very easy. I basically like climb in with her, tap her on her back like this, and then hold on to her tail for a minute. And again, 90% of the time, if I just tug on her tail, she lets me like reach in, go underneath her chest and lift her out. I really don't have to fight her on that very often, but when I do, it's still scary. Like,
I bet.
And there has been a few times where I did have to call the client on the way to the event and just basically be honest with them. Like, I had a lot of challenges this morning trying to get the animals ready for your event. Like, I'm sure you are very well aware of this too, that like some constrictors in particular will just like pee and poop all over you the second you start to like handle them. So again, that's not a smell that I want to sit in the car with, like being covered all over my clothes too. So I'm gonna change before I show up to your performance, so they're not leaving reviews like the show is cool, but the dude like smelled like piss.
Not awful. Yeah. Nope, I get you on that one because unpacking the one baby carpet yesterday, I got him out and he just started flinging crap and musking. I forgot how bad that crap smelled when they start doing the musking stuff. But oh my god, it was just like I opened up the window. I was like, no.
Yeah,
Phil says not a great smell.
So, like, I basically structured my pricing for the animal shows based on like the level of preparation I have to do and how much time it takes. So we do have a package that only includes the animals that are actually at my house here, that I don't have to go out to the rescue and prep all those animals too, because that's still like adds an extra 20-minute drive and then all the extra time to prep them. So we have a base show that actually does not include any snakes, unfortunately, or the alligator or the tegu, but it does include all different monitor. It's basically mostly lizards and turtles for that show. Well, that's all it is really. Then we bring a ferret. I will bring a toad or a tree frog sometimes, but you can't really handle frogs. So while kids do love seeing the frogs, they get upset that I'm not allowing them to touch them. And you know, but that is a really good educational point for me to introduce them to, that we really shouldn't be picking up toads and frogs in the wild, not only because like some of them could hurt us, like but just the mucous membrane gets disturbed and like worn off when we handle them, and the oils in our skin like could basically suffocate them, and they can actually grow lesion or get lesions and stuff that is miserable for them. Yeah.
I see. I didn't know that. All right, you learn something new every day. I just learned more. I didn't know that.
I'm just gonna say it. The other day, I did a camp for cancer survivors that were. It was a Jewish school, like almost like they were all cancer survivors, but it was an all boys Jewish camp. So, like, as I'm talking about the history of crocodilians, like I go into the crocodiles are virtually unchanged, like millions of years ago. Like they were perfect back then. They're still perfect predators now, that they didn't need to adapt or anything. And then this kid pipes up. He's like, "That's wrong. The Earth is only 5,000 years old." And like I do have a huge interest in theology and different belief systems and religion, but I've never really like gone into that aspect of the Jewish faith. So he says, yeah, but they can't be millions of years old. The Earth is only 5,000 years old, or I forget the exact number. He did have like an exact number they rattled off, but then I said, I'm not going to argue that to a camp, but
Yeah.
all of them like have a different belief than me. So I just smiled and said, okay. And then he chimed in and he's like, yeah, you learn something new every day, right? I'm just like, yes.
You're like, bite your tongue, bite your tongue, bite your tongue. Don't do it.
And then I was like, yes, yes, you do. And then I, went on with the show. And then the counselors at that show came over at the end to talk to me and thank me. And then they're like, we really love how you handled that. And he said, as adults, we've been exposed to different beliefs in what we were taught as children too, and we understand. And not everything meshes with our faith. And we love how you handled that. And I was just like, what? Who am I to argue something that I cannot actually prove either? Like
Yeah.
Nobody alive can actually definitively say, I was there. I know, so I'm not going to delve into a subject that I have no business talking about and like argue with a kid. So, like,
the whole thing there is arguing with the kid, you lose automatically, no matter what. I had a kid at a show, I think it's at Gettysburg actually, and he was like just standing there at my table, and he asked me something, and I answered it, and then he told me I was wrong. I just kind of stood there. I'm like, no, like this is how, I forget what it even was at this point, because I think it happened last year. And I explained it again to him and tried to, explain it maybe a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he said, no, that told me I was wrong again. And like you said, at that point, it's just like, all right, well, no matter what I say at this point, I've lost. So it's, all right, kid, you know what you're talking about. Go at it. You have a wonderful day.
The level of confidence in some of the stuff they tell you too, it's just, that's what does it for me. Like they're so assertive and they're like, they know. And sometimes these kids are only like 3 years old and telling me that I'm mispronouncing a dinosaur's name. And I'm like, okay.
So can you even really say that properly yourself anyway? I mean, Hadley's 4, and I love my daughter to death. But there's some of the simplest words in this world to say. She still don't say them right. It comes out all weird and goofy and funny. So yeah. But anyway, all right, Dustin, Jackie, Jasper. I'm sure you guys will all want to either go to bed. I don't know what else you'd want to do at this time of night. I mean, it's 10 o'clock, so you probably just want to go the hell to bed, maybe.
I don't know if Jackie's in too, but the new House of Dragons came out tonight too, so I kind of want to check that out before bed. But I have to get up super early to do shows in Frederick tomorrow. I don't know what her plan is, but
well, see, all right. Here's what. That's the one thing I've got to do too before I go to bed. But I think I'm 2 weeks behind on House of the Dragon. I blame Kara because every time I want to catch up, she goes, "Oh well, let's watch that." Like she never watched season 1, I told her the whole time through season 1, you've got to like House of the Dragon is badass. It's great. You've got to watch it. I actually kind of think it was better than the original Game of Thrones. Certain aspects of it anyway. There's some aspects that are lacking, but a lot. I was a big once the dragons came into play. It's like, all right, this is badass. So I kind of lean towards House of the Dragon being kind of ultimate at certain points. And she's like, no, I don't really want to watch it. So you had the whole year that it came out. You had the whole year they were filming season 2. And now when season 2's airing, now she wants to watch season 1. It's just like, duh! I'm like 2 or 3 episodes behind.
I guess I kind of agree with what you're saying that, for me, just that this is more focused on the dragons. As a reptile lover, you want to see the dragons fighting and, like some of the cinematic stuff. Like, I don't want to be one of those guys that spoils it for people, but like just actually seeing the dragons much more than you did in Game of Thrones. Like, Game of Thrones was like so much build up until the dragons were actually old enough to do anything too, and then it was like they would tease you like, oh, here it is for 15 seconds, and that's it.
Well, that, and then by the time they got the dragons out, it seemed like that was towards the end anyway. So it's like they were kind of, I don't want to say they were rushing things, but they were kind of pushing through things a little bit faster to kind of wrap the story up. And then the last season, they really pushed through it quick. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll let Jackie speak a little bit on her own if she wants to add anything, but like the whole incest stuff in the Game of Thrones killed it for her. She's like, this is so fucked up. Like, I don't want to watch any of this. Like, she's banging him and that's her brother. And I'm like, well, yeah, I think that's how it was back then.
See, that's funny because Kara was the same way with like some of the stuff going on with House of the Dragon. She goes, what the hell's wrong with, like, she's like, this is all screwed up. I was like, it's like, just ignore that part. It's just minor. It's how they did it. Okay. It's just, let them be the way they are.
And I was just like, that makes it like much more tolerable when you see these characters get killed then too.
Now, yeah, I guess. Anything you want to add to that, Jackie?
I'm good.
Like, I think she really was on board all the way through until it was like, again, I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen Game of Thrones, but I think it's been a long time now. But like,
I think if you haven't seen it yet, like, you deserve to have it spoiled by this point.
Like when she found out Jon Snow and whatever her name, the Queen,
Daenerys.
Yeah, we're related. She was just like, that's his aunt. Oh, fuck this! Like, that's fucking gross. Like, wait, okay, all right. Not like they knew.
I was gonna say, not that I support this, okay? I don't agree with it, but at least she was a hot aunt. I mean, I just saying. They're all about credibility again. Oh man, guys, I appreciate you all coming on tonight. I was hoping this would flow the way it did, and I wasn't. I was extremely happy with tonight.
Well, thank you for kind of coaching me through the process and making me feel more comfortable, because I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to tell his audience that they wouldn't know more about than I do. Like, I'm not a breeder. I'm not like an expert on any particular species. So thank you for making us feel comfortable coming on too.
But see, here's the thing though, like, I feel I enjoy shows like this because I feel as though too much. It's a breeder about this, or it's a like ball python, carpet python, ball python. Like, it's always so focused on just the breeding aspect. This is like a nice breath of fresh air to have someone new to come on, talk about something that not everybody talks about, knows about, does anything with. So I think it adds that nice, it makes things fresh again. And it also excites me again, because sometimes, I mean, I love talking to the breeders, but after a while it feels like so repetitive.
Yeah.
And this also allows me to kind of shift it into a new gear, and it kind of refreshes everything for me a little bit too. So I thoroughly enjoy having you guys on the night, just because it was that breath of fresh air. Like, this is also something I've wanted to do, but also don't have the time, nor as you said, as much as I love my children, I don't think I love all the children as much as I maybe need to do educational shows.
Oh, but that brings up a good point. I don't think I was like really prepared for that question, but if anybody is watching and thinks they want to start doing shows, I would be happy to try to give you more in-depth thoughts if somebody does think they want to do shows and wants to reach out. And I don't know, I can maybe ask these guys some stuff that I haven't thought of too and get a better perspective of that also.
Awesome. And everybody there, Dustin's link is in the description down below to Instagram, Facebook, and the YouTube channel. So feel free to go check him out. And hit him up. Also, the link for their website is on there as well. So there's no way you can't say you can't get a hold of this man, because everything is there. Hang on 1 second, guys, while I wrap this up, and then we'll go backstage. But everybody, next week's show, because of it being Gettysburg weekend, it is going to be a solo show, because Friday night I'm setting up and going out with the gang and kind of what's the best way to describe Friday nights? Discussing the woes of the breeding industry and everything. I don't know. That didn't sound right anyway. But anyway, we just bullshit and talk shop on Friday night. Saturday will drain the hell out of me. Sunday will be recouping and just getting everything that needs done. So you mix all that in with the heat that we're supposed to get this week. It makes for a very tired and exhausted Jeremy. So it will be a solo show. Probably go over some of the cool things that happened, or we'll see. I have slightly thought about, just because Joe keeps putting it in, that little bug in my ear, maybe we'll try to figure out a way to go live from the show a little. I'd throw that up and down about going live from the show. It would be neat. But if I'm live at the show, then I'm not focused on trying to sell stuff. And I'll have Dom, but Dom doesn't know genetics. He doesn't know the breeding end of it. He can bullshit his way through things a little bit, but at the end of the day, he's not the guy that knows how to seal that deal. And it adds some extra complications I don't know if I really want to do. I don't know. I got to toy around with it once and see. I don't know. Maybe I'll go do a quick walk around or something like that Saturday morning or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe that's what I'll do, is go live quick Saturday morning. But we'll still go do solo on Sunday, everybody. And then I'll have a week off, and then I will be up at Bloomsburg first weekend of August, folks. So if anybody is up around the Bloomsburg area, go out to that. And then the weekend after that is Hamburg. So I've got a very busy show schedule. So, and then after Hamburg, then I've got Comic-Con Sunday. So Hamburg Saturday, Comic-Con Sunday. So that week is just totally shot. Tara says, good luck with the crappy internet there. Yeah, see, that was the other thing, is the internet good enough to carry and do what I need to do? So, I'll have to. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But this week's video, folks, should be the carpet video. There's like two things that I'm not sure if I like on it. So we'll have to see if I do, in fact, put out the carpet care video. Like I said earlier, if I don't put it out this week and you have questions about taking care of your carpet pythons, hit me up or watch the previous video because basically everything is the same as the previous video. There's just a few things that did change. Shedtesting.com. Use code carpet15, 15% off, guys. Use code Warfel60 at Husbandry Pro. Link for that is in the description down below. Gets you 60 days free instead of that standard 30 days free. Use that affiliate link in the description down below. Dustin, Jackie, Jasper, thank you very much for joining me tonight. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Everybody, you guys all have a awesome week. Stay cool because it's going to be hot as hell again. And make sure you all come out and hang out at the Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC this Saturday, guys. Be there. You just got to be there. Like, there's no other place to be. It's going to be hot as hell probably, so you're going to want to be at a reptile show. So you're not going to want to be outside. But take care, everybody. Have an awesome week. Dustin, I will see you guys backstage 1 second. See you guys all later.